Hello, everybody, and welcome to our sixth webinar for job seekers from Employflex. We're delighted to be here today with Michelle Ryan from B-wellhive. So in the last six sessions, we've covered things like LinkedIn, CV preparation, online interviews, and resilience. So today is going to be very different, but just as important. We're going to be talking about wellness while we're working from home and for job seekers. So as I said, we're delighted, and thank you very much to Michelle Ryan for giving us her time here today, pro bono. So I'm really excited about her webinar and learning some tips myself. So just a little bit about us before we start. We are Employflex. We are a flexible recruitment agency, and we have over 4,500 candidates registered with us seeking flexible work. We are known to lead the flexible work revolution in Ireland, and we're delighted to do so as we lobby for flexible work for everybody. We've also added a new arm to our business since COVID, and we've got into training because we have so much knowledge on this subject. And now everybody is working from home, so we're happy to offer training on online meetings, on Zoom, and how to remote work from home. So if you've never been in a webinar before, if you hover over the bottom of your screen, you will see the questions and answer feature there. So if you have any questions while Michelle is going through her presentation, you can just pop them in here and we'll answer them after the presentation. So Michelle has her own business here in B-wellhive, and she is definitely personifies what she does because she lives quite near me in Clonakilty, and every time I see her, she's absolutely glowing with health, with beautiful skin and hair, and she looks so healthy. So I'm, as I said, dying to get some tips from her. She's a certified nutritionist and also a mindful awareness mentor. And to add to that, she's also a forest bathing guide. So she says herself, she's passionate about health, nutrition, and well-being, and sharing that with her friends and clients. So without further ado, I'll pass you over to Michelle, and she's going to take us through her presentation, and just pop the questions in there as they arise as she's going through. Over to you, Michelle.
Okay, so thank you, Karen. I really appreciate you having me on today, and those very kind words. Thank you very much. It's great to be on here today and to share some hints and tips with regards to health and wellness and how I can support people going through job seeking and also in remote working. So without further ado, I'm just going to share my screen, and I have a couple of slides that we can work from. And what I'd like to do is maybe quickly run through, and as Karen says, the presentation itself works. I think we've got about 30 minutes. Karen, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but and do please call in on me as well if I need to shorten the presentation, because sometimes I tend to go on a little bit. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce myself. Karen gave me a very good welcome there, so thank you, Karen. And today is about staying well while job seeking, but also I would like to say this covers everything in life, every day in our life, so if we get it right, in our everyday life, it will follow through when we're working remotely, and it will have knock-on effects with regards to ourselves and our family around us. So just to introduce myself, my name is Michelle Ryan, and as Karen mentioned, I'm a certified nutritionist. I qualified in 2011 with the C&M College, and I'm also, I suppose, CIBD qualified. So I have a little bit of understanding where Karen is coming from, both from a recruitment point of view, but also from a job point of view. I've worked in corporate for over 30 years, and I've seen it, from a HR perspective, but also on the other end as well, when somebody isn't well and they need that that extra boost in their life with regards to how do I get through this challenge. So my main focus and the way I work is, I suppose I work with professionals and I work with parents, and I support them to take action to live healthier lives. And I support that in a way where I help them to make a transition without overwhelm, and make it easy for them and handhold them step by step with regards to going from maybe where they are at the moment in illness, or just 3 different areas: well, be healthy, and be weight wise. So they're very, very, very similar in some ways, but very different. So, as I said, we'll go through that, and you can see different areas as I talk today. So let's start with the areas I'm going to cover up. But first off, I do have a passion for food, and I do have a passion for feeling well. And that is, I think, going on what we've gone through in the last number of months, and where we see ourselves today. It very much, this quote, I love it. And it started in college, and it was, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. And if we eat right, we will definitely feel right. And that also goes to, where we are at the moment. We've all seen somebody that may or have gone through the symptoms of COVID-19, and we're coming out the other side at the moment, but we still need to feel well in order to get through that time. And to stay well. And the doctor of the future, will no longer, I suppose, treat humans. This is another quote I love, because, rather than cure, and prevent disease with nutrition. And that is the key, preventing disease with nutrition. So the prevention is probably the key really here. So what can I say, that the next steps then, with regards to food, let us look at kind of 4 steps that we need to, be mindful of if we are to stay well and be well every day. So the ones I've taken today, and I've just done a general overview, because I suppose a lot of our health, I suppose, in general, is a cause for concern in today's world because of kind of what's happened. So I've just taken it general, and then I go into each area specifically. So staying hydrated, staying healthy, eating well to be well, and also managing stress and keeping a positive mindset. And these all work in synergy together. It isn't just about maybe eating the right food. It really helps when we actually bring everything together as a holistic approach. If we're going for that job, if we're working at the desk, and I'm working with a few corporates at the moment, and also one-to-ones, and it's interesting to see how people have transitioned from working in the office to working at home, and how their routines have changed. Someone might go into the office and they might start at 9, they might go for their breakfast in the canteen at 10, and all of a sudden, that's absolutely changed. So instead of having the breakfast at 10 o'clock, they might be changing to in either an earlier time or a later time. So it depends really. When we work remotely, we have maybe flexible work, but still we might have full-time work, and that really takes up a lot of time on our desk. So we need to understand how all that works. And so when we stay hydrated, staying healthy and eating well to be well, supports us to manage our stress and keep a positive mindset. And all these 4 steps will help you to feel great, and then you will feel confident in yourself, and people hire confidence. And I think that's exactly what Karen mentioned about what they do, that whole kind of the hiring, the recruitment process. People hire confidence. So what do I mean by staying hydrated? So our bodies are made up of 70% of water, and that's, in various different minerals and proteins and so forth are also kind of synergized with that as well. Hydration is, body fluids. Water is vital for the tissues, the brain cells, the function, the staying focused. But it also, as we get older, it drops to 50%. And that may be because we may consume different things, as we get older. So definitely being aware of how much water we take in during the day is key, and keeping, a tumbler of water on your desk continuously throughout the day can really support you to just literally, make it a habit, and that's one of the things that I work with when I work with people, is building awareness, making a routine, and then those become habits. And this water routine really needs to become a habit. So we need to be sitting at our desk, first thing in the morning. We need to be having the water in between, breakfast and snack, or in between snack and a main lunch. Just ensure that you're drinking the water in between meals, and maybe not so much with meals, because it really supports that digestive and cleaning the system down so that when we eat next, everything is ready for the next, for the next course. And again, digestion begins right at the mouth, so, and it works its way down. So when we, support it with, hydrating, it really supports us to be focused. It gives us energy. It hydrates our cells for everything to work more efficiently together. Now, when we're dehydrated, and you may notice this, when you go to the toilet, sometimes, your urine definitely can become dehydrated, and a sign of that would be, where your urine could be quite yellow, or which, definitely, need more water. And then, this can be a sign as well, that can affect memory. It can affect your concentration and nerves. And remember, when you're going for a role, you don't need that. You need everything. You need your memory to be at its best. You need your concentration to be at your best, because a lot of the recruitment process now will be online, so it'll be supporting that as well. Our nerves, our energy, and the immune system. So definitely feeling hydrated and being hydrated, and water starvation as well. We can get hungry, or we can feel we're hungry, and we go to the fridge and we open the door, and it's like, okay, well, what do I feel like? Go for the water initially, and that will keep you fuller, definitely. And sometimes we can replace, the hunger for thirst, or we can place thirst for hunger. So definitely, first step, definitely getting the water. And every time you sip, a drink of water, think, oh God, I'm flooding myself with goodness. And 8 glasses, or 4 pints of water every day is key. First thing in the morning, mid-morning, mid-afternoon, then, and early evening, so definitely looking at that. So how do we stay healthy? How do we do that in a way that's easy and effortlessly? We're all busy. We've all got a lot on our plate to work, but we've also got routines with regards to meetings we have to go to, seminars and webinars we have to attend. So definitely staying healthy, eating a healthy diet, that is key. How can we do that? First of all, never skip meals. Try and have a routine in your day. And routine is key, getting up at the same time every day, and either getting some exercise, and we'll come to that in a minute, but definitely, having your water, either going for a little bit of a walk or doing some small bit of exercise before your first meal of the day, your breakfast, which, has to be a kind of a good meal. And then, try and get in some sort of either smoothie, or you can do it through, a bowl of granola, or, a bowl of porridge. Definitely try and get good quality carbs and proteins in there. And also, eating foods like fresh fruits and vegetables. And these are all plant-based foods, which definitely has a huge impact on our overall well-being with regards to our prebiotics and our probiotics. And I'll come to that in a minute, but, quality proteins like fish, chicken, and meats. And as we get older, we tend to, reduce the meats a little bit more, and maybe focus on the fish and the chicken with regards to our hormones and our liver health. Definitely restricting the intake of refined sugar and starches is again key, because it has a knock-on effect on our blood sugar, and it can make us a little bit anxious. And we, so definitely going for, the less sugar, the more natural, like an apple or a banana, or something, with low sugar. And that can be anything from, 4 grams and under, 3 to 4, grams and under, and staying to that, because it does, have a swing. So when you take in high sugars, you will get the high, but then you get the real low. And that's hard to manage sometimes if you're swinging throughout the day. So definitely looking at, low sugars, throughout the day. And that can be your plant foods, again, bringing in things like for lunch, rice, also quinoa, definitely brown pasta, those type of things, with vegetables, or with a piece of chicken, or with a salad. Absolutely super. Really helps to balance the sugars. Keeping the caffeine as well, to a kind of either reduce it or eliminate, depending on your own symptoms. But if you are going for that role and you really want to get that role, try and keep your energy levels to kind of the same the whole way through, so you're not spiking up and down, again, because that can waste energy and it can put you into, kind of a little bit of a stress zone. So we prefer just to keep it even and calm. Okay. Restrict the alcohol, if you are going for that role, be clear in your head, because when we're clear, we're confident, and when we remember, we got our concentration switched on, and all those kind of work together when we're in front of somebody for that interview. We need to be able to, recall where we worked recently or 2 years ago, or how we're going to interact, our competencies with the skills that we have, and we need that brain to be able to work, because we are going to be, I suppose, up against, in this time where we're going through at the moment, whereas once we would have seen, I suppose, for one job, say, you would have seen X amount of CVs now, whereas that's tripled. So you are, working with, you have to be, at your best when you're going forward for a role, or even when you're working at home, at your best every day, and it really will stand to you. Exercise, again, is a regular exercise program, helps to generate a sense of well-being, and also by increased energy, improved sleep, and also improved coping skills. So definitely getting that 15 minutes every day can be key. Sleep, ensure you get a good night's sleep. 7 to 8 hours is essential. We actually, during our nighttime, our hormones are activated, they're repairing, our proteins are activated, they're repairing, and our liver is repairing, at nighttime. So we really need that sleep for that repair and for the body to heal and be able to, energize again the following day. So let's look now at the foods that can support you to be well. So we have protein, we have carbs, we have fats. Okay. So how are you eating? How are you taking those foods in every day? Are you taking them in one big bulk, or, if you are, maybe we need to, plan ahead, stay ahead of your hunger. How do we do that? We manage it through, eating, those three, combination at each stage of the day in those 3 meals, so you have some protein in the morning, you have some carbs, and you have some fats. Protein, we recommend probably around 55 grams a day, and that can be kind of broken out throughout the day. So getting, maybe 15 grams at each sitting. Now, plant protein, I would always recommend to be the best type of protein, because it's more natural, and definitely go for something that's organic as well, because it makes your peptides, and makes your amino acids. So it's really part of building that cell and that cell function to work more efficiently. Your fats, go for the good quality fats, like the avocados, the olive oils, your flaxseed, your real butter. So they will, definitely, looking at something for the morning, what kind of snack could you have? Eggs, absolutely perfect, and add in, some really good carbs and plant-based, vegetables. Like, this morning I had an omelette, and I added in some red onion, and I also added in some tomato, and I put in some spinach that I cut it up really finely, added some spices, and there I had, a good, quality, breakfast, and it kept me going for longer. So definitely using these 3 macronutrients, and they're the ones that our bodies are actually, they break them down in the body, and the micronutrients then are vitamins and minerals. So from these, then they actually reduce down into micronutrients, which give the body the nutrients that they need throughout the day. So getting your B6s, getting your B12s, getting your all your nutrients with your vitamins and your minerals as well. Looking at magnesium foods, they all are all incorporated into these 3 categories. So let's look at the quality foods. Okay, so I suppose I'd be a premise of eat real foods, and that's always the way I work with regards to get the natural back into you, the natural foods, the way our grandmothers ate. And this is really key, because when we're going through, I suppose, a pandemic, we need to understand that by feeding, our garden of diversity, which is our overall microbiome, we're born with it. And that microbiome supports the bacteria inside and out. And we feed it through our prebiotics, which is our garlic, our onions, leeks, asparagus, and going for something like the red onion as opposed to the white onion has a huge benefit because of the antioxidants. And then things like bananas, really great. Going for like like the green ones, because they very much have, you know, that greenish, you know, with regards to the prebiotic, has a better effect for that digestion. Apples, you know, go for the, you know, the ready ones, because they have the, you know, good quality pectin in them. And try and go for an Irish organic apple if you can and where you can. The whole grains, again, lentils and beans for those prebiotics, and so important that we get them into us. Types of probiotics, the natural yogurt, you know, is an absolutely super one. And looking at some of the fermented foods as well, you know, loving, you know, our liver as well is key, I suppose, to get. So definitely looking at prebiotics and types of probiotics, and that really supports us in our day, in our meals, in our day. So when we work with things like, I suppose, prebiotics in our day, we work with insoluble and soluble fiber, and these are key as well to, you know, our digestion, and ensuring that our digestion is key. So soluble fiber is, you know, is things, you know, and it really helps us to protect the gut, and things that mulch up, you know, like porridge, is great for that. Really protects the gut. You know, things like, you know, as I mentioned, you know, meals that help us to support that in during our day can be things like breakfast, snacks, lunch, and you know, the breakfast that I mentioned there a while ago, which was an omelette, you know, and I put in 3 vegetables into it. Scrambled eggs on toast can be a great way to get support as well, you know, in the morning. And then you could always go for, you know, brown toast, or, you know, something like a sourdough, which is great as well. You know, breakfast on the go, I'd always recommend, you know, if you were on the go, a smoothie is great, you know, really is, with an added plant protein powder, you know, and that can be super with regards to, then you add in maybe a bit of spinach and a bit of fruit like a banana, and you whiz it up, and you can put it into a container, and you can take it with you if you're on the run. But also you can, you know, use it during the day as well if you've got a lot of meetings, but you're still getting those good nutrients into you. Or if you got to go to, you know, an interview or so, you know, or even little snack packs, you know, having your almonds at your desk, or having your, you know, grapes or a banana, you know, with natural yogurt, you know, during your break as well. And that really can, you know, support you to, you know, to build a better wellness, you know, while you're in your day. Also lunch, you could look at something like mixed salads with fresh herbs, and homemade soup with a fresh salad, brown rice and quinoa. I know we're all working at home, a lot of us, and that really, you know, can support us to maybe make our own foods. So again, going back to the real foods, what can I buy, you know, what can I buy, you know, and looking some of the ingredients here, you know, getting some of the salad foods like the nice lettuce, the mixed leaves, and, you know, things like rocket can be great to add to a salad. But also things like, you know, you can add some either chickpea salad, or you can make it into a chicken salad. You could make it into, you know, so there's lots of options there that you could put together. Or even just going with a nice sourdough sandwich, you know, a quality bread, or go for a brown bread anyway, which is great because you're getting the fiber with regards to the digestion, which will support you for longer. Also your, you know, your energy boosters, you know, your iron foods during your day, definitely things like liver, steak, beef and turkey are super. They really support that B12, that iron, and give you that extra boost. And just note then as well that, you know, vegetables like, you know, broccoli and bok choy, you know, vitamin C, they're great for, and they really add the synergy together. So we really need vitamin C in order for our iron to be absorbed in the liver, and then that goes off and does its job throughout the body. And liver, shall I say, iron then gives us the energy to feel energized. So making sure that we're getting all those foods into the body every day. But even just taking 1 or 2 out of the list that I have today, and just thinking, okay, well, I might add that, that, and that. We're not all going to have the same tastes. I certainly don't have the same taste as my husband. So, you know, I don't think, you know, everyone has different tastes. So getting something that kind of works for you and your taste, and then mixing it in. And the condiments can be great, you know, things like, you know, sauerkraut added, you know, and it does it even starting with like maybe a kombucha and see how you get on with that. And that can be great because it really supports our good bacteria and it acts as a probiotic. And they can be great, you know, breakfast snacks and, you know, lunch and the energy boosters to bring, you know, our meals every day to make you feel well. And then the well-being side, the fourth, I suppose, step, which with regards to managing stress and a positive mindset. So I really think that it's, as I said, a holistic approach. And managing stress, again, we've mentioned the exercise, which has a huge impact because it increases our endorphins, number one, and it allows the energy and the blood to flow through the body, but also it acts as, I suppose, a detox where we're letting go of different toxins out through our sweat and through the exercise that we do, you know. So a brisk walk is really good to feel good and feel motivated, even before you're going for a job, or even in the morning, at lunchtime, or in the evening. And it really helps to, you know, take you out of that situation where you might be feeling a little bit anxious. So getting your exercise. And the next thing is the exercises and the breathing. And I really feel that this is so important when we feel a little bit anxious, or, you know, it's just 5 minutes before we're due to, you know, be interviewed, or, you know, we're going into a meeting and there's a couple of things that, you know, are on our mind. Well, the breathing exercise can really just let that go. So, you know, closing your eyes again, you know, breathing in slowly through your nose and just counting to 4, you know, and as you do so, you know, briefly pause, you know, so you're breathing in and you're for 4 and you're holding for 4, which I think is a great exercise. And then you're just letting go. So you're just letting go all of what you think is keeping you kind of tense. So we really want to be relaxed. We really want to be focused and, you know, in the zone really, and get the most out of it and enjoy it. If nothing else, you really want to enjoy it. So okay, so feeling calmer, you know, and, you know, give it a go. Definitely give it a try. So I think as well, you know, if you do that 2 or 3 times during the day, morning, you know, and then any, you know, morning and evening definitely, and maybe 1 time during the day, and it really will help. And again, those exercises at your desk are key to stretching out, you know, because we really need to move the body during the day. And I've listed one thing there at the end as well with regards to improving the time management. And I think, you know, even in the home, you know, we're all can be conscious of, you know, working longer hours because we're at home and we, you know, we're trying to be flexible with regards to the kids, or we might have other, you know, family commitments, you know, in our day. So prioritizing, organizing your day responsibilities can improve, you know, your quality of life, also to less the anxiety, and to just that feeling of, you know, I'm in control, you know, if there's a role coming up, you know, I just really need to improve, you know, how I'm going to get there. So if it's 2 or 3 days, or if it's a week's time, we manage that time is to, you know, what can I be doing, you know, this week in order for me to be well and in the right frame of mind for the job. Okay, so you've been asked to go for the interview, and thinking of, you know, okay, maybe go for a run or walk during that time. So you're building up your you know, your routine and your habit, you know, getting some good foods into you. So again, you're building up that good routine and that habit. 2 days beforehand, you know, you cut out, you know, the caffeine, you know, the alcohol, so that you're really in that good space of calmness, and also, you know, that your concentration is at its peak. And then, you know, these are I suppose stress management tools that will get you, you know, into, you know, I suppose your best chance, and that's what you want really. So exercising, breathing, and improving your time management, I think, are 3 key areas, as well as the nutrition, you know. And lastly, I suppose, to improve your chances, you know, overall, the best time is to start now on a healthier path. And that could be, you know, what do I need to understand, okay, in our awareness, you know, what's going on for me at the minute, you know, how can I, you know, this is time for you. I'm sharing with you some knowledge, and a lot of people feel when they have this time with me, it's like, this is my time, you know, I'm understanding that I need to self-care. I need to understand how I'm going to manage my health a little bit better. What are my gains? What are my benefits? You know, if I walk every day, how am I going to feel? If I put good food into my body, how am I going to feel? If I change from some high sugary foods to low sugary foods, or real based, shall I say, real foods and plant-based foods. How am I going to feel? Maybe I want to lose an extra few pounds in order to get into that that dress for the interview. How am I going to feel when I feel that I've lost those 2 pounds? We feel confident, and what are the gains? So we need to put those down to understand, why am I doing it? Because we don't want it to be a kind of a random exercise, because they don't build awareness, they don't build routine, and they don't build habits. So we need to understand why we're choosing that goal and that outcome. And then you have to understand, what are the benefits to me? What are the benefits to you with regards to your confidence in yourself? Will you get more energy in your day? Have you tried something like this before? Are you, increased focused at work, at that role that you want, and work better throughout your day? And these are just some of the benefits that a lot of people, feel with regards to, eating healthier. They're increasing their exercise. And there's a story about one of my clients that came to me over the COVID-19, and that was a case where she's gone through a bit of a turmoil situation. We've been doing really well, and then it came to a situation where her husband was off at the same time, and next of all she was in the holiday mode and the relaxed mode. And because he was off and she was working, she started maybe having that extra bit of a glass of wine, or those extra kind of sugary foods. And when she came back to me, she was like, oh my God, I just feel so bad. I feel bloated, I feel tired, mood swings, and you can also, get high blood pressure. There's a lot of different things that can actually stem when we're in that kind of, I'll just go with the flow zone, or our cholesterol can rise as well. So just noting, what are the symptoms I have now? What do I want to change, and how am I going to change them? But more importantly, what are the benefits? If you're going for the role, how can I change things in order for me to be the best that I can and improve your chances? And there's no reason why not, because as I said, companies look for confidence, at that particular time, and they do have the choice at the moment. So definitely, I suppose, to end with, out of today, I'd love you to choose just one to three simple things that you can add into your day, or just take away with. So whether it be exercise every day, so even just taking a number of foods that I mentioned with prebiotics or probiotics, adding them into your day, or just even getting a good breakfast, a good lunch, and a good evening meal, and another key is just getting that water in, so there's 3 or 4 things, but if you could start with 3, it would be brilliant, because people hire healthy and confident. So thank you very much for your time, and I think I've kind of covered off nearly everything there. So I happy to go with any questions that people have. Karen, back over to you. And as I said, I am a health coach and mentor, and I support busy parents and professionals, and I make healthy transitions. So, and that's all through Be Healthy, Be Well, and Be Weight Wise. And it's very much about building awareness and building routines and habits. And habits, they really form over 60 to actually make a habit, but 90 to actually solidify the habit. So how are we going to start doing something like that? And key at the moment, when the summertime is here, the bright mornings, the bright evenings, even bringing in that little bit of exercise can really help. But nutrition, getting the real foods in nutrition, can actually be a win-win situation, and doing the two, so yes, so thank you very much, and as I said, if I have any questions, please, I'm happy to answer them. So thanks, Karen.
Super stuff there. Thanks very much, Michelle. There was some great advice there. If you can just stop sharing your screen there.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, I didn't know about the red onions and the green bananas and the red apples. I'll certainly be changing my shopping habits. Yeah, it's really, really good stuff there. And, a lot of it is, we know it, it's common sense, but it's just to be reminded of it.
Absolutely.
and start creating those habits, and to drink the water and eat the fresh food and get your
Food.
bit of exercise. Yeah, but some really, really good tips there. Thank you so much. Just a few questions coming in here. Somebody has asked, should we be taking vitamin C supplements at the moment to boost our immune system?
Everybody's very different, and if you are suffering from symptoms, we've got a lowered immune system, definitely you could add it, but I would always try and get it through the diet, and the plant-based foods are probably the best. The dark green vegetables are probably the best. So if someone is suffering from symptoms, maybe there's something else going on, and definitely, that would be, a specific, kind of area. But, I try to avoid, multivitamins and minerals the best of times. So it's definitely looking at real food and understanding, what foods are working for you, what foods aren't working for you, So, but you can do, as I said, if you're going through a flu type symptoms and that, but not generally. If you've got a good immune system, I wouldn't think so.
Okay, very good. Louise has a question. She's asking, have you any tips for aiding better sleep during this anxious, stressful time? I often wake up exhausted after 8+ hours sleep.
Oh, you poor thing, Louise. It is very much something that's out there at the moment, and people are feeling those kind of symptoms. So definitely the eating better throughout the day, but stopping anything to do with caffeine, kind of after 6 o'clock, caffeine and water, and definitely any treats, any high sugars after, kind of cut them out in the evening. They're really, shall we say, and that's to do with our blood sugar. So if we eat a lot of sugars during the day or coffee, it really spikes. And unfortunately during the night, because the body's trying to get rid of it, and the liver is trying to process it, so it kind of goes, oh, I have to go up and go to the toilet, or I have to wake. So definitely removing any sugars after 6, and removing coffee after 6 as well, and try and limit the alcohol to the weekends. Monday to Friday, try and stay away from the alcohol, and just keep the alcohol to occasions, and just to the weekends, because alcohol has a huge effect on the liver, and it's quite high. It spikes it really high. So again, that's something that really needs to kind of so cut out, say, limit the alcohol and reduce the sugars at nighttime. And one thing you could take, actually, Louise, is maybe a magnesium tablet at nighttime before going to sleep, and that will really, really, really help. And Puka tea, they do a lovely tea called Relax Tea, or nighttime tea, and that's absolutely super when it comes to, so take it about 8-9 o'clock at night, so your body is really starting to, you have a circadian rhythm, and it naturally wakes up with the light and goes to bed at nighttime with the dark, and that's the way that it kind of normally works. So you wake up in the morning 5-6 o'clock in the norm, in the norm is the way the light does, and it depends on the way the light goes, and then in the evening we kind of go into sleep. But if that's disrupted with high sugars, caffeine or alcohol, it goes out of balance. So definitely a magnesium before you go to bed, and you can buy one of those, in an organic shop. You can get kind of magnesium specifically for for bedtime. But the Relax Tea is Puka. You'll buy that anywhere in Super Value or whatever, and that start with that, and that works absolutely wonders.
Good. Yeah, I'll be trying that myself. So there's another question here from Jane. She's asking, can you drink too much water?
I was having this conversation with my husband this morning, so and I think yes, you can, because sometimes, I mean, I'm talking about 4 liters now, but it depends on how your body removes the water. So if you're taking, too much water and you feel bloated, that means you're not eliminating it. So make sure if you're taking the water in, you're going to the toilet, and that needs to be, shall I say, eliminated. So, 4 pints of water, a litre of water is, and maybe 2 litres if you're doing a lot of exercise and you're sweating, so after exercise and you've done, 10K, or you've done a 5K, absolutely you take in the water that's actually been lost. But, if you're sitting down at your desk all day, a litre to a litre and a half is absolutely plenty, during your day. Because what can happen is, as I said, as we get older, our cells become a little bit more clogged because of the toxins that we take in. That could be the environment, it could be, products that we put on, it could be, anything that's around us. It doesn't have to be, specifically eating, toxins, but it just could be our environment. And they get a little bit clogged up in our, so sometimes that water, it doesn't filter through as it should. So definitely, if you're getting bloated and you're not eliminating it, reduce the water content and try maybe juicing. That's a really good way as well to actually get the get in your hydration, juicing, smoothie, getting the container, adding, and a really nice smoothie can be just as simple as, some blueberries, a banana, 2 handfuls of spinach, and a little bit of plant protein powder. And that can be a great way to start your day and really getting those your cells hydrated as well. But you're also getting the nutrients into your cells as well. And that's where it comes out in your skin and your hair, So again, that's an added bonus. But yeah.
Yeah, and the smoothies are a great way to get a load of fruit into the kids as well.
Yes.
We were taking them now during COVID-19. Just got our 5 a day in before at 9 o'clock in the morning, so pressure was off.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a question here from Helen. What is your opinion on the Fitbits and all of those other app type software?
So Fitbits are great. They really encourage people. We all work, a lot of us work to, shall we say, the clock on ourselves to make us accountable. So if we've got a Fitbit, and we have to, I've committed to walking 80 kilometers in July. So I'm thinking, oh God, I definitely need a Fitbit. Do you know what I mean? So they're great, definitely it measures what you're doing, you know what I mean? And if you, accountability is fantastic. If you're trying to up your exercise, or if you're trying to up your intake of exercise internally, accountability with a friend, is key, because you can say to, right, Mary, okay, we're going to do 1,000 steps every day, and the Fitbit goes on, and it's great. Those kind of apps are absolutely really good, because they kind of put you into a guilt situation nearly. Oh my God, I haven't done my steps today, I better get out. You know what I mean? That could be 10 to 12 at night, but not really. But but I think they're great. Yeah.
Okay, good. And would you, Saoirse is asking, would you recommend keeping a food journal?
I think food journals are great, and the reason being, I recommend a lot of my my clients to start off with a food journal, and that's basically if we have symptoms. So if we're feeling tired, again, if we've got mood swings, can happen an awful lot at the moment, because our adrenals are really packed. They sit on top of our kidneys, and that's our fluid and our electrolytes. Our blood pressure goes up. There's a real imbalance. Do you know what I mean? So definitely keeping a food journal will identify where we peak and where we're low. So if we're eating too many sugars, we can say, right, okay, well, we've peaked here, here, and here. What have I eaten at that time? Or I've got low here, here, and here, and I'm feeling anxious. I'm worried about things, or you're inside in the bed and you're thinking, oh God, I haven't done this, 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 and this. Do you know what I mean? So that's when the food journal comes in really well. We kind of go, well, what have we eaten to trigger that? Then again, we could have intolerance. So that could be gluten or dairy, or it could actually be, a nut intolerance, or it could be anything. But keeping the food diary will definitely track that. And even working with, somebody that we're doing I was on a shred 10. Today's the last day. So it was it was about 20 of us doing a shred 10, and that was using, juices and plant foods for the last 10 days. And one of the girls, she really needed meat, but she didn't actually realize that she needed the meat, you know what I mean? So it took her the 10 days to actually understand, I've been eating all these plant-based foods, but she needed her B12 in order for her, to feel the energy from her iron, So keeping a food journal, if you have specific symptoms, it will identify more specifically. So you can go to doctor, nutritionist, and you can say, this, and this I'm eating, and this is what's been triggered. Can you support me in that area? But also it can tie into other areas of your life as well. So, and we emotionally eat, we emotionally go for the reward. We go for the cue and the reward. And that's what brings us back to the same place when we think, when we go to a Friday night, we want to watch a movie, we're like, okay, let's get the Scooby snacks in. Do you know what I mean? And that's emotional because it's a habit, you know, and instead we want to turn that around, you know what I mean? Because Saturday morning, then we're feeling crap because we've eaten too much Scooby snacks and we think, oh God, I've done it again, you know? So we just go back to what did we eat then on the Friday night? So the food journal would definitely tell that tale. It's in the evidence, it's written down, it doesn't lie. You know, so yeah. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and actually, an anonymous attendee has said that they've started to use a free app called MyFitnessPal for food journaling, and it's great. You can take a photo of the pack of food or chocolate, and it's a really good reality check sometimes to make you realize the sugar or the fat content in some of the food. So that's a good suggestion from one of our attendees there.
Yeah.
And we're already running out of time now. It's gone very fast. Karen is asking, would Michelle have a recommendation for the best healthy dinner recipes and accompanying shopping list for a week just to get started?
As in
so
a
the best
place,
healthy dinner recipes and maybe a shopping list to go with it just to
as
get
in
started. Would you have a recommendation?
as in a place to go to, like a website or
Yeah, I suppose, or a book maybe, or some
a
of your
book.
own
Yeah,
resources.
so you know, I suppose some of my own recipes with regards to the real food. So first of all, the dinners that I would work with most evenings would definitely be, you know, looking at a kind of a stir fry. You know, and getting your plant-based veggies in that way, and you know, working with the plate. So we have, you know, 50% made up, you know, of our carbohydrates. So definitely getting those with our carbohydrates, which plant-based, getting lots of veggies in there. So definitely 50% of our plate. And then we have, you know, it broken into two other halves, and one of those is protein, and the other one is healthy kind of fats. But definitely, I could maybe send on maybe some of those healthy meals, or send up maybe some recipes, Karen, or something,
Sure,
you
we
know,
can follow
maybe,
up with an email.
yeah, 4 or 5, you know what I mean? And also kind of a shopping list, you know, just a basic one, you know what I mean? So, you know, breakfast, dinner, and tea type thing, you know, and that always works really when you go to the supermarket, because I handhold people in Stock and Shop, you know, people have things in their cupboard and they've always used them because they've always been there. But when you go to Stock and Shop, you know, in Dunn's or Super Value or wherever, you can actually see things. You go, oh God, I never knew that was there, or this is better for you. This would work better. You know, instead of using normal table salt, you know, go for the sea salt. That's always better. You know, and going for the brown instead of the white is always going to be better. You know, evenings, you know, staying away from, you know, high doses of potatoes because it's high in potassium. You know, so definitely people, you know, with fluid or lots of fluid, you know, the potatoes can cause a knock-on reaction, you know. So having potatoes maybe once, twice a week is great, you know, and keep to the new potatoes as to the older potato, you know, go with the newer ones or the organic ones. And things like, you know, eating sulfur foods, you know, because they really synthesize our proteins, and that's to do with eggs and you know, and fish, and you know, definitely, you know, getting those proteins in can be key. But we can do something, you know, we can definitely do up a page or something for that lady. Yeah.
Brilliant. So your mine of information. Another question coming in here now from Maria. I like to buy plant-based sausages and mince, etc. These are usually made in the UK. Are there any Irish companies producing alternative meats? Do you know, Michelle?
I don't actually know, to be quite honest. I haven't heard.
I know there is Dee's, DEES. She does vegan sausages and stuff like that. She's based down in West Cork, actually.
Okay, that rings a bell, actually.
Yeah, I think she's still in business, but she used to be stocked in Super Value for sure, anyway. So maybe if you Google her, Dee's, she all her stuff was vegan. So yeah, and she's West Cork, which is always good.
I'm going to make a note of that too, actually.
There you go. Karen is saying thank you there. And just a question I have, what is Shred 10?
Oh,
Do I want to know?
do you want to know? So I work with well in under B-wellhive, everything to do with wellness and so forth. So Shred 10 is a program that I run probably once a month, and last actually once a month starting to this is my first month, Karen, and next month it's 10 days where you start kind of really at the start of the month, and you give 10 days where you eliminate gluten, you eliminate dairy, alcohol, you reduce your shall we say your sugars, or eliminate them altogether, and you work with plant-based foods mainly, through the days, through the 10 days. So for some people, it can be tough because of the coffee, and the caffeine, so the first couple of days, can be tough, but it's just, a habit getting into using the foods. But we set up a WhatsApp group, so people can actually accountability to each other. They can get recipes, they can see what everyone else is eating, and it really supports that kind of camaraderie. So because I work with Juice Plus as well, and that's all plant-based products.
Okay.
And yeah, that kind of comes under that category there. Yeah. So but definitely, if anybody wants any more information, you can go to my website, which is b-wellhive.ie, and it kind of goes through the products, and it goes through what I do as well with regards to one-to-ones, and how I work with people. So yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, listen, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much again, Michelle, for all that information. And I'm going to continue drinking my water. I just went out and got a glass while you were talking. And hopefully we'll all be feeling a lot more healthier going forward. So listen, we're going to sign out. We'll be back at the same time, the same place next week. We have Valerie O'Hanlon from Clarence Consulting. She's going to be talking about how to take control of your career going forward. So we're really looking forward to that. And if you feel like it, give us a shout out on social media. We'd be delighted if you did. We're all on all social media platforms. And if you are looking for work, don't forget to register with us as well. So we'll see you next week. And thank you again to Michelle Ryan from B-wellhive.
Thank you, Karen.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.